Welcome back to our Shooting and Recruiting series, where we bring you our expert knowledge in the market, be it candidates, clients, or our general PX community. Now, a special thanks to our connections who submitted their suggestions for tips and tricks on our last Tuesday's post. We have had a lot of requests to cover interview skills or interview preparation. Now, we do actually have an interview guide on our website, which gives you some hot tips on how you can triumph in an interview using our Triumph acronym. But today we are going to start covering interview questions, and one of the most common questions that you are sure to be asked in an interview. Now, before we start, if you aren't following us, head over to our LinkedIn Australia page, Peopleconnexion Recruitment Australia, or if you're located in Papua New Guinea, Peopleconnexion PNG. Make sure you chuck us a like and follow our Tips and Tricks Tuesday post, where we cover anything from CV tips to how to negotiate a better offer, to how to approach counter offers, how to be a mentee. Whatever it is your suggestions are, we help answer them. So let's get into it. One of the most common questions that you are bound to be asked, and a quick Google search shows that we are still asking this question, and today we're going to uncover how to answer it, is tell me a bit about yourself. First things first, you don't want to be talking about your obsession with the deep dark ocean and your obsession with SpongeBob since 2004. In my defense, you did ask me to tell you about myself, and well, now you know a little bit about me. Unfortunately, this is how most people would interpret this kind of question. But what this question is really about is summarizing your experience pertinent to the role and why exactly it is your skills would match with this role and this employer as well. So number one, read again the job requirements. You want to tailor your answer to this question to speak to the role requirements and summarize your job experience and your qualifications, much like you would in an elevator pitch, so 60 seconds at most. Number two, don't repeat your resume. You don't want to be listing your experience chronological order or in a timeline kind of fashion. If you do that, you aren't actually adding any value to what you submitted on your piece of paper for your resume or your cover letter application. After all, they are here to meet you, and if you find yourself starting with, well, you would have seen in my resume, retreat. So begin with the present. List your most recent experience, some projects you've been working on. What are the skills, both technical and transferable or soft skills, that you have developed that would be most applicable to this role? Focus on summarizing your experience rather as a story to speak to why you are here today. So why did you choose the field that you are in? What are some achievements that you have made along the way? And what's really motivating you going forward, or where is the direction that you're heading? Which leads me into number three. You want to close with why you are here today and why it is that you've applied for this particular role. Whether it's exposure on new projects or a new area of the industry, perhaps it's about career development, or perhaps it's about a new company culture. And this begins to answer a second most common interview question, why us? So this is where you really want to delve into doing some research. What are the goals of the company? What's their vision and mission or purpose? What are their values and how do they align to yours? Perhaps that's the exact reason why you're sitting in front of them today. Number four, be careful talking about controversial topics or personal information. Religion, relationships, politics, heed with caution. If you want to include something that you believe is pertinent to the role, such as your passion for volunteering, do so at a really high level approach and just summarize. If you include personal information, just make sure it is pertinent to the role or unless asked. Last but not least is rambling. One of the reasons why we suggest not to get carried away with personal information is not just because you're losing sight and focus of the role and why you're here, because you can easily get off track when you start talking about yourself outside of work and your secret obsession with SpongeBob.
7 days later.
Like I said, the aim of this question is really to present yourself in a professional frame of why you're here today and why your skills and experience and qualifications positions you as an ideal candidate for this role. Short, sharp, concise, and to the point. At the end of the day, this question is almost always asked, and while it seems like an easy breezy, personable question, it 100% requires some preparation and some strategic consideration on how to actually answer it appropriately. In saying that, don't script your response. You want it to be as natural as possible. Consider starting your response with bullet points and then perhaps recording yourself watching, analyzing, reviewing, and practicing again. That is a wrap on our Tip and Trick Tuesday for you on how to answer the question, tell me about yourself. Now, we really love hearing the suggestions from everyone, so head over to our LinkedIn, comment on our next Tip and Trick Tuesdays post for suggestions, advice, things you want to hear, and we will look forward to coming back to you next Tuesday with a new piece of advice.